Top of the day, beautiful people. Top of the day. Sorry for the few minutes of lateness today. We actually got a project going on today. And had to handle some last minute stuff. Phone calls and stuff coming through. Make sure verifying information. But project starts here shortly. All right, y'all. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. It is March the 5th, 2022, day 47 of year 4, reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1065. Today we're starting reading Tablet H in the Complete Annunaki Bible, starting on page 126. And then we're going to start in chapter 27 in My Big Toe, starting on page 219. All right, y'all. Y'all ready to get rocking and rolling? Father, continue to lead us and guide us into all truth and help us to apply the wisdom that we learn to our lives. All right, y'all. Shayla, great rise and Betwabu, Audrey, shalom. Mom, shalom, shalom. All right, y'all. Y'all want to hear something cool? Look. Oh, hold on. I don't know what it means yet, but I know it means something. Look, I'm in my birthday month. My birthday is March the 30th. So yesterday I day before yesterday, I reshared the astrology chart, right? So remember, I don't know how it happens, why it happens. I just know by practicing it, something begins to happen, right? Remember we was learning about the zodiac, not to get all super crazy and reading horoscopes and stuff. But we realize it has something to do, I don't know, I guess you can say, with our destiny and why we're here and why different people groups act the same. But anyway, make a long story short without getting into the too many details of it. When the moon is in your sun sign, right? So I'm an Aries. So the moon, every single month, the moon goes through phases. And when it gets to certain days of the month, and it's this in order repeating cycle of the zodiac signs that overlays the days of our year, right? And every single month. And the days that your sign gets will fluctuate from 2 to 3 days every month, right? So this month, my sign happened to be it's the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th of this month. So the moon is currently in my sun sign, right? And my birthday is at the end of the month. But also going out of March, my sign comes up again, and it's the first couple days of April, right? So I get it on the front end and the back end, right? So, but when you practice fasting every single month, it's just like you're getting your body into the habit of doing this thing, even if you never fast any other day of your life. If you can figure out whenever the moon is in your sun sign, and you don't necessarily have to go like cold turkey fast from everything. I mean, you can, the more you fast from, I think the greater the benefits are, right? So I just kind of been doing, I can't really do anything except for fruits and veggies because I can't stomach anything else at this point. It's just my smell is, I don't know, that's my smell is off. It's just that whole, I don't know. Maybe I've just been plant-based for so long that everything else, my system is completely rejected. I have no issues with any kind of fruits or veggies. I can eat them whole. I can juice them, except for bananas. Bananas have, and I think something is wrong. They even have organic bananas, but even the organic bananas, I can't stomach anymore. But they say those are not really good anyway. From my studies, and you should probably eat like the plantain or the short fat bananas. I forget what they're called, but they're I think they're called like finger bananas or something like that. But anyway, so I'm in my 3 fasting days for this month. Well, the moon is in my sun cycle and I'm in it. So last night, not last night. Well, okay. So I had all kinds of dreams. But anyway, when I was waking up this morning, you're in that between, you call them figs. Okay. Those little short bananas. Okay. But you know how when you're in that between sleep and waking up, it's like you're right there, but you're conscious of what's going on. That's where a lot of the spiritual activity happens. Something happened. Amanda Bailey, shalom, oh great spirit, y'all, peace and blessings for our lives here in this physical realm. Right. So remember, we learned while going through the the astrological chart. That's why I'm trying to remember to make sure I post at the beginning of each month for those who haven't downloaded or don't have the ability to download that app that shows that the calendar and the zodiac signs overlaid. I'm trying to remember to post it in a community section so you can see where your sign falls at. So when it falls on, when the moon is in your sun sign, it seems for that particular month, something supernatural, you can say supernatural, your spiritual wisdom increases on those days. If you are aware and you're fasting, you abstain from, even abstain from sexual activity during that time. And you abstain from sexual activity during those days because you don't want to spill the chrism oil, right? Okay. So some people may still like teeter the line. It was like, okay, well, I'll get intimate, but I just want climax. I mean, whatever. Just don't spill the oil. And having the climax will cause that oil to spill. So however you work that out, it's how you work that out. Yes, I'll post the app for that too. I'll repost it. Well, I didn't post. It's been a while since I posted the app. It's called the Moon app, but I'll screenshot it again. And I definitely know it's on Apple. I have an Apple phone. An iPhone, but I think it's available for Android as well. But just in case it's not, that's why I'm screenshotting the calendar for those who can't get it. Okay, so every month up until your birth month, it seems like your wisdom is increased, right? Wisdom, supernatural, knowing, you develop a little bit more if you practice that. And I began to notice it, but you seem to get a double portion on your birth month, right? I'm in my birth month, and I remember, but it didn't trigger until I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, I'm kind of excited for my birthday this year now that I'm aware of this stuff. And I've been noticing as the build up over the year, just make sure in those days, I make sure, okay, Pam, remember, okay, boom, okay, make sure I'm aware. Fasting during these days, just meditating. Okay, I'm just excited for whatever gift I'm gonna get when I turn 43. So it's two things that happen, right? I had a dream, and I definitely know that this was a dream, right? My grandma wasn't in it, but it was about my grandma, and it was weird because it was like it was like her funeral was happening all over again, but it was just a little bit different. We didn't actually get to the funeral. We were on our way to her funeral, and there were gifts that my grandma had left. And this actually happened in well, of course, when grandma passed away, stuff is divided up, right? My grandma had this jewelry box, right? This tall, it's like almost like a curio cabinet, but it's a jewelry box that has 4 feet and it's kind of tall. And then she kept all her jewelry, her cosmetic jewelry and her real jewelry. So as everybody was piling up, getting into the cars, I was looking around and I was like, Grandma didn't leave me a gift. And everybody else had a gift. Everybody got something out of their jewelry box or whatever. And I was looking around. I wasn't sad, but I was just kind of curious. Did somebody take an extra gift? So I went and I was looking and I opened up Grandma's jewelry box and all the jewelry was gone. I opened up the drawers. I ain't seen nothing, but even from the cosmetic jewelry, you know how you get the cosmetic jewelry, the earrings and stuff, and it come on like this little square piece of paper with the 2 holes for the earrings to poke through with the back on the back. It was even a bunch of those. I'm like, I said, these niggas done took everything. That's what I said. So I'm going through the drawers and I'm like, man. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I ain't tripping, right? And I really wasn't, but I was just curious. I'm like, well, okay, well, whatever. But as I was about to go close the drawers, I decided to check again. And when I opened it up, I pulled it, the one that had all the earring back papers in it, I pulled it all the way out. And all the way in the back were 2 necklaces. It was like a red necklace and a white necklace. I want to say it was almost in the line of her cosmetic jewelry, but it was like a ruby and maybe like a pearl necklace, right? But they was like the same length that you could put them on, and they probably hung to about right here, right? If you would put them on. And I was like, oh, maybe this is mine. And I took it out. And I took them and I held them, I grabbed them both together and I put them around my neck. And when I put them around my neck, I looked at the dress that I had on, and I had on a dress that actually matched the design in both of the 2 necklaces that I put on my neck. I was like, oh, I didn't even know I had, look, in the dream, like, I'm surprised at what I had on, right? I was like, I didn't even know I had this on. It was a pretty, like, red and white dress, you know. It was pretty, it fit my body. It came down, you know, just below my ankles and everything, because we was going to her home going and everything. And then when I looked at it, I realized that I didn't recognize it, but I just recognized that, oh, this is a pretty dress, red and white. And once I recognized the dress, I looked at the two necklaces that I had put on, and the necklaces, all they were like the red and white, or the pearl, ruby and pearl type looking colors. It actually, when I put them on my neck, it adjusted to the colors of my dress, and then it lengthened down, and it came to about my navel. So now they were no longer short, they were longer, you know. And it was almost like, you know how you watch them older movies from what at the days when they had the finger waves and they go to the juke joint and they dancing and stuff, and they have like the long jewelry, and they, you know, and it seemed like one of those, but it was really pretty. I'm like, okay, this what she left for me, right? Okay, so that was that, right? I don't really know what that means, except for that I got two gifts, right? Two necklaces that I didn't originally thought that I was going to get. I just didn't think I was going to get anything, right? So that was that. But then after I woke up, I was in that in between sleep, right? Getting ready to get up to prepare to come down here and everything. And so when I woke up, I was conscious, like I was woke, but I could tell I was right there in that realm. And then I saw a ticket. It was like, you know how you go into maybe like a symphony or something. They don't really give you, they give you movie tickets, but they're kind of like the little short stubs. But it's actually not this big. Maybe like the size of a, let me draw it. Like a ticket like this, right? It was a ticket like this, but it was like a digital ticket. And up here it had like this. It was like a little box. And it had it was like, it looked digital. It looked like a digital picture, but it could also almost been like a movie playing on the inside of this right here. And down here it was a bunch of little square openings where you could like put stamps in. And then I looked at it, and then all of a sudden there was a stamp that appeared right here in this corner. It was a stamp that said, psh, and at the top it said access granted. And I said, oh, and then I completely woke up. I'm like, yes, what did I just get access to? What have I been granted access to? I want to share that. I'm super excited. I'm in my birth month. Anything can happen. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Yes, Sam. Shalom, shalom. Thank you. So I'm super excited about this, y'all. You know, so I'm still like on day 2. Tomorrow is like the 3rd day, and I haven't actually gotten to my birthday yet, because my birthday is the 30th of this month. So, you know, I just want to share that. Okay, all right, Pam, get started with the reading. Okay, but as I find out, you know, what I've been given access to, I'm sure it's something spiritual, something that I'm gonna learn, or something that I've been trying to figure out. Apparently I've been granted access to it. I don't know yet, but I'll let y'all know when I do, right? When I start getting clues. Okay, all right, y'all. Tablet H, page 126, the complete Annunaki Bible. All right, this is Book of Headaches and Demonology. Dana, hey girl, hey. All right. The ancient world would appear, at first glance, to be composed of little else but fictitious evil spirits and the superstitious fools that fuel them with belief. To take the naive historians or mythographers' perspective might be convenient to some, but to a seeker of the true words, we cannot succumb to such surface interpretations. The infamous Maklu burning tablets, and they have reference 43 for Maklu burning tablets. See the M series tablets within the current anthology. Hold on. Oh, okay. So they have it in here. Okay, the burning. Okay, it's in here. It's actually in this tablet. Okay. The infamous Maklu, M-A-K-L-U, the infamous Maklu burning tablets make an appearance elsewhere in the Necronomicon Annunaki Bible, but the seeker may be less aware of the other tablet series from similar origins, mainly Serpu, and Serpu in parentheses it has consuming demons. Utuku Lemnuti is Book of Evil Spirits, and TT, Book of Headaches. Asaki Marsuti, the fevers and sickness, and Labarto, the Hag Demon. Y'all heard about the Hag Demon? Thank you, Amanda. Look, okay, so from what I understand about the Hag Demon, I don't know if Trina's here, right? She said, Dana, that's a good question. I don't know. It's if we're following Gregorian calendar, how is birthday accurate? That's a whole that's a good question. But the way that they had it's not okay. It's not hard to understand. The calendar, let me make sure I say this the right way. Okay, the calendar lines up with the clock in the sky, with the current constellation. But when you start talking about, we might have to revisit this. I'm going to have to pull my words together for this before I answer that question. That's a good question, though, Dana. Let me make a note, because it's gonna pull us off, and I'm going to have to spend some time. Hold on. Make myself a note. That's why I said, I don't know how it works or why it works, or why the alignment of it works in regards to what happens on a monthly basis when you're practicing the fasting. That part I still haven't figured out, but it works. Or maybe it's just my belief in it working with using what I have works. I don't know, but all I know, it works. That's why I said we're going to have to separate this conversation where we kind of go through some stuff. Some things I don't have all the answers for, but I just know following that the way I learned it, it works. So, okay. So back to the Hag Demon. Like I said, I'm not sure. I didn't see Trina come in, but she said some nights her husband, Robert, he would look over at her, and he said that he would see like this little old woman sitting on her chest when she sleep. Now, I'm not sure if she said, I was like, girl, was he woke when he saw it? Or was he sleeping? He thought he saw it. She said, I don't know, girl, I'm going to have to ask him. But she said that he said that when he would wake up in the middle of the night sometime, he would see this little old lady sitting on her chest. And she told me this a couple months ago. But shortly after she said that, when I had the whole episode, when I was freaking out, the title is called, when I had this whole, at that time, I labeled it a demonic attack, right? Grand Rising, Uncle JB. I labeled it a demonic attack. But the more I go along, the more that I've been researching, looking into what was actually happening, I might kind of reclassify. I don't know to just what yet. But anyway, at that time while I was looking over this stuff right after that, I came across the Hag Demon. And apparently it's not just here in the United States, but all over the world, people see this same particular thing. And I actually have a book. Oh, what I do with the book? And there's a picture of it. There's actually on the cover of the book, there's a cover of a woman laying on the bed, but she's like half on the bed, half on the floor, arm laying on the floor. And there's like this little, and they got it, and it has like a face of like a demon or whatever. Just think about movie, how they design what demons would look like. It's like this little demon sitting on her chest. But when I opened up and read through it, it was talking about the different demons, like the incubus spirit and the succubus spirit and the old hag spirit. And they described it just like that. And I'm almost certain Trina hasn't read that book. Because that book, when I ordered it, when I ordered it, it came from India. So whoever had it in India. And so I had to wait about 2 weeks before I actually got it. I'm almost certain she probably hasn't read that book. But it goes into detail about what this Hag Demon is and how some people, they wake up and they feel like something is sitting on their chest. And it truly, really is something sitting on their chest. And everybody describes it as the same thing. They've done a lot of different interviews from people in Africa that experience it. in America, South America, in India. They're all are describing the same thing. So this book has it in there. I'm probably tomorrow though, I had to get it. And I'll show you the picture. Or I could actually, I could go to Amazon and I can pull up the screenshot and I can share it on in the community section and on Facebook. But yeah, it's called the Hag Demon, right? And it's they call it Hag. I guess it's kind of, I don't know, but in relation to like a female energy or whatever, that's what I call it, a Hag Demon. Not that women are hags, but you get the terminology people use. But anyway, all right, back to the reading. In the Babylonian system, a priesthood called Asipu or Masu is dedicated to exorcisms and banishment of ill fortune thought to be from people's thoughts and deeds themselves or of another, e.g., a wicked sorcerer. Uninitiated wicked sorcerers and witches are those practicing illegal magic or sorcery outside the realm without permission for personal gain or against society. Only the temple priesthood could practice magic. These true wizards and witch doctors were actually given a highly esteemed class status for their abilities in combating against the evil sorcery cast by the lower class, hostile and wicked ones. So remember what I said yesterday, what I shared with y'all? I said, I ain't sharing this with y'all to go out here and be vagabonds in the land. Use it for your own spiritual growth, right? Use it for your own spiritual growth. Words of power associated with both the subtle conjuring of the demons, or it's demons, but in here it's spelled demons, Daemons. Words of power associated with both the subtle conjuring of the demons or violent exorcisms of the evil genius, whether it be by the most holy Roman Catholic ritual or the most diabolic of grimoires, e.g. the Grand Grimoire and Dragon Grimoires, which occupy the same mythological paradigm as Catholicism and Judaism, are always of the highest, or else to say holy names, e.g. Tetragrammaton. So the more you look into it, y'all, which is what we're getting into, I'm going to show you that what they've been doing, not necessarily on the lower levels of the church, because the lower levels, the parishioners, they're really kind of ignorant to what's going on. I would say pastors who are kind of, I would say those who are more connected to the Catholic Church, those like, and I hate to say the name of the different pastors, but you can tell from some of their pictures and stuff that they show where they put on the robes and they're standing beside popes and stuff like that. Those in the Catholic Church, I would say those of that level, they actually know what's going on, and when they come teach it to the church or to the parishioners or to their Hebrew brethren, they don't necessarily give the details of it, right? They just teach it to them in a way that keeps them from being suspicious of what they're being taught. But the more you go in here and you look at the stuff, and especially if you were, not even say a real spiritual person, but if you really studied your Bible, whatever it is that you study, you're going to begin, the more you study and the more you research some of the things that you pull out, you're going to realize that they go hand in hand with some of the stuff that the dark side does. And then you're going to realize that y'all are doing the same thing. And some people, they don't want to believe it. But I'm like, don't completely ignore me. Don't count it out. At least look at the information. I'm telling you, you're doing the same exact thing that they're doing, but they call them Satan worshipers. Y'all, they just changed the name, changed the Tetragrammaton just a little bit. Not even too much, but just a little bit. But even when they all cast their spells or say their prayers, they just say prayers. They call it spells over here, but they call it prayers over here. They're still using the same language. They're all using Hebrew, right? And I'm just like, wait a minute. So don't let it throw you off. Don't let the religiousness of church and the Hebrew roots keep you in a box where you can't see the truth, right? I'm telling y'all, I got a lot of stuff in here that I've been going through. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, let me go back. Words of power associated with both the subtle conjuring of demons or the violent exorcisms of the evil genius, whether it be the most holy Roman Catholic ritual or the most diabolic of grimoires, e.g. the Grand Grimoire and Dragon Grimoires, which occupy the same mythological paradigm as Catholicism and Judaism, are always of the highest, or else to say, holy names, e.g. tetragrammaton. This is because the vibrations of the material world occupy under the governance of the material ruler or lord of the earth. And for lord of the earth, it has reference 44. Reference 44 says, lord of the earth, of the physical meaning, lord of this world, traditionally Inky, right? Nadia, it's Inky, right? Consider the demiurge of the Gnosticism tradition, sometimes equated with Satan, right? Same characters in the Christian church and even in the Hebrew church. They don't change much. They just change how they pronounce Satan's name and call him Ha-Satan, or Jesus and call him Yeshua, Yahusha. They're changing the names, but it's the same exact characters. And if you do a little bit further research, those characters change names. Yeshua or Yahusha would be Enlil. Satan would be Inky, right? You got to go back. You got to look further and see where they got it from. Shalom, right? Remember the Israelites, what did they used to be called? We didn't say it so much. Anybody know what the original name for the Israelites were called? Because of who they actually followed? Somebody put it up there. Somebody. Nobody? Ain't nobody paying attention? The Israelites originally were called the Enlilites after Enlil. Okay, y'all don't believe it? Just do some Yesaf. You'd have missed a few days, huh? Okay, let's go back. Words of no, let's not go back that far up. Okay. Yeah, let's go back up. Words of power associated with both the subtle conjuring of the demons or the violent exorcisms of the evil genius, whether it be by the most holy Roman Catholic ritual or the most diabolic of grimoires, e.g. the Grand Grimoire and Dragon Grimoires, which occupy the same mythological paradigm as Catholicism and Judaism, are always of the highest, or else to say holy names, e.g. tetragrammaton. This is because the vibrations of the material world occupy under the governance of the material ruler or lord of the earth, which may have appeared in the past as a source god, but of which is only a cyclic god, or one of the gods in a cycle. Yeah, I know you missed some days, bruh. It is always the supernal trinities and unspeakable names that carry both the avenging hunter and the glorifying worshiper of the daemon shadow. And the wise appear to use the... Yes, babe. It's going to be at the park. Yes, we're going to go. And the wise appear to use... No, we're not going to their house. We're going to the park. And the wise appear to use systematic hierarchy of the highest to achieve these ends. For in the ancient times, we see priests of Eridu and Babylon calling to Marduk to appeal to his father, Enki. By the time of the Jewish mystics, such as we find in the book of Abramelin. Yeah, that's Abramelin. Abramelin. Such as we find in the book of Abramelin, this title has been generalized to Adonai, meaning simply Lord, though fundamentalist monotheists can only perceive the notion as God source. Catholic priests and Christian sciences adopt the name of Jesus as Adonai for the Piscean age, something that many occultists actually find logical. Now, also what I found is that even using the New Testament, I got it. I got a copy of it, right? Because I just had to look at it. I had to see what was in it. They actually have something, what is actually called Jesus magic. And also within the created New Testament, there are actually spells within it, right? The book is about it. The guy who actually wrote about it and the details of it, his name is Baal Cadmon, right? And I've looked at a lot of stuff by Baal Cadmon, right? He kind of falls in line with Damon Brand and like the Gallery of Magic. While I was looking at stuff, I was like, you guys, I was like, it's amazing how much information that they have. You would think that they sat in a Christian church, and some of them kind of started in a Christian church and they had more information, more than what the regular churchgoers have, because they was connected to different people. So the information that they have it's surpassing people by multiple degrees, right? And so they give you like the details of what is what and why certain things happen. And the book by Baal Cadmon is called Jesus Magic, and magic has a K at the end of it. I'm like, yo, this is pretty interesting, right? It's, I pull up the books and go through it just for, for the education. But then I began to recognize the stuff. After I read it, I could see the stuff happening. It's crazy. No different than we find among the cornucopia of anecdotal paranormal experiences today. The ancients had their run-ins with what contemporary society once generalized as ghosts, meaning the ethereal spiritual presence of an ancestral, and in parentheses it has dead spirit, or rather a spirit that returns due to its unrest or difficulty in crossing. These are called idimu. Yeah, Edimmu. And in parentheses, it actually has that word broken up. It has E period, D-I period, I-M period, M-I. In Babylonian Assyrian lexicons, another is called the Utukku, Utukku, later interpreted to be a daemon without being distinguished for its beneficent nature. The Lamasu is a positive guardian spirit that is called forth in many of the tablet rites. Okay, I gotta say something. This is really funny. Okay, so I'm a part of a couple different groups, right? On Facebook, and there is one that kind of caught my eye. And granted, they post all kinds of everything in there, all kind of things spiritual. But somebody made a post the other day that said, which lines up with what I've been learning. I don't necessarily share anything. I'm just looking for nuggets of truth people may know that help me kind of connect puzzle pieces. So I'm kind of being nosy in some of these groups, just going through stuff, looking for certain things, right? And a lot of these groups, people are sharing a lot of different supernatural things and out-of-body experiences that they're having, and they're asking people, has this ever happened to you? What about this? What is this, right? So I find those really interesting. And one of those groups is about ancient ancestors, right? And somebody made a post that says, y'all need to teach y'all children about family members that pass, and teach them that sometimes when they pass from this life to the next. And I'm just kind of explaining it. It was a real short post. I'm gonna see if I can find it and I'm gonna share it with you. But you need to explain to them about the spiritual realm, that a lot of time they said you need to explain to them about the spiritual realm so they won't be calling ancestors demons. And so when I saw it, I thought it was so hilarious because I understood what they were talking about. A lot of times, now that we understand, sometimes when people pass, if depend on where they were at here in this life spiritually, they're literally caught here in this realm. They just lost the ability to use their physical body, but they are still here, right? Because during that lifetime, they weren't able to gain enough, whatever. They didn't learn enough, and they can't necessarily ascend to the next level, because what we learn, earth is nothing but a school for the spirits or for the gods, however you want to term or whatever you want to call us, right? We're all that. We're spirits that are trapped inside of bodies, or the flesh and blood is the vehicle to operate in this realm to help develop our spirits, right? We know that we are not our bodies, right? There is a literal spirit that resides on the inside of our bodies. When we take our last breath and we die, the flesh remains here and the spirit is still alive. It's active. It never dies. It just leaves outside of the body. That's been proven over and over and over by people who've had out-of-body experiences, testing by scientists and doctors. And even me, when I had that whole demonic attack a couple weeks ago that I was flipping out about that day, we didn't even do a reading. The title's called Julian Spirits. That video, if you missed that, you got to go watch it. It's hilarious. I sit back and watch it and I was like, girl, you're so silly. Yeah, we call them familiar spirits sometimes. But a lot of times, they're not necessarily what we would call demons. It's actually a human that has lost the ability to operate in this realm like we operate, but they're still there. And they're trying to get your attention. They need help, right? Because they didn't learn what they should have learned while they were here. Now, you could have come and talked to me about this a couple months ago. I'm like, what are you talking about? That is not true. But now that I've experienced it and I've been regularly going in and out of my body on purpose, I know that is absolutely 100% true. Those who have not had that experience will not be able to relate it. They're just not going to be able to comprehend it. They just can't. They have nothing to relate it to. It's not on their radar yet. Until it happens to them, they will not be able to understand it, right? So, but now I completely understand it. So I'm like, I definitely know, like, people that I know that are still here, that haven't, gone to the next level. Some people have, right? And you don't see them anymore, right? But there are some people here, people talk about haunted houses or grandma in here, haunting the house, she messing with everybody. A lot of them, they're not tripping. Yeah, we are not a body with a soul. We are a soul with a... I love that, Shayla. Yes, we are a soul with a body. Yo, if y'all have not had that experience where you can really comprehend that yet, I really recommend you start the gateway process that's been in the description box of all these videos ever since we read that CIA document. Go in there, start that. And you will have an out-of-body experience where it's like a training. It's a training program. I'm telling you, yo, best thing that ever happened to me. It helps answer a whole lot of questions to a whole lot of supernatural and spiritual things that have happened to me all my life. Right? Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna read this again. So he explained what I know to be true. A lot of times it's not demons like what we would call it. Because when I first started getting into it, I learned about Astral. Well, at first, yes, babe. Today, yes. Can what? You don't go to karate today? Yes, we do go to karate today. No. Today is Saturday, son. See that yellow highlight on Saturday? Karate is at 11:30. Yep. 11:30. That's Saturday. Thank you. So 11:30. Yes. And then we'll go into the park for Savannah's thing afterwards. The baby shower? It's not a baby shower. It's a gender reveal. Oh, okay. Okay, they don't care. They just want to go play on the monkey bars. Hang out with their cousins. Okay. So I really began to realize this the first time. I was familiar with the term out-of-body experience, but more so astral projection. It's the same thing. Out-of-body experience and astral projection is the same exact thing. It's just the church uses out-of-body experience. What they call the New Agers or whatever, the group of people that's not like them, they use astral projection, but they're talking about the same exact thing. And I began to realize that when I began to have those experiences that you are not your body, and you're like fully conscious and aware of what's going on around you. You can take information that you can get when you're in the outer body state or when you're astral projecting and bring it back into this realm and have it actually happen and manifest. For those of you that have never experienced it, Don't think we crazy. I'm telling you, it really works. You got to try it. You won't believe it till it actually happens to you, right? And some of these things, I'm still learning. Like I said, I don't know how it works, but I know just by getting in there, tasting the pudding, testing it, I know it works. I may not be able to give you all the details. I can just share with you my experience on what has happened, right? And there's quite a few people in here already that's been tasting the pudding because I've been getting emails and they've been sharing their experiences. Although they haven't shared them in the community section under the one that I did, I don't think anybody shared it but me. I have been getting the emails about what's been happening to them. And they truly know that they are spirits that live in bodies. They are spirits with bodies, right? Okay. Back to the reading. Later interpreted to be, hold on, let me go back up here. No different than we find among the cornucopia of anecdotal paranormal experiences today, the ancients had their run-ins with what contemporary society once generalized as ghosts, meaning the ethereal spiritual presence of an ancestral dead spirit, or rather a spirit that returns due to its unrest or difficulty in crossing. These are called Edimu, in Babylonian Assyrian lexicons. Another is called the Utuku. And I mentioned before, I should have said this earlier. The West, when people pass, or not just the West, even some places in the East, when people pass away, they teach you about death the wrong way. And you don't really die. You never really die. You just lose this flesh, but you never die. Like, as I get older, many years, possibly a couple generations down, I plan on living a few more generations, right? A few more generations when I decide I'm ready to go and I'm going to leave this flesh behind. I want to make sure I've extracted everything from this earth school that I can to make sure I don't come back to this place. So I can, move up in the spiritual schools. Wait a minute, Isaiah, what?
What if I make a potion that never makes people die?
Will you let me know? He said, what if I make a potion that lets people never die? You let me know. A lot of people be interested in that potion. It's called eternal life. Will you give it to me? Thank you. I received that. Look. Okay. But you made me lose my train of thought, son. Go on over there. What was I about to say? Oh, they teach us about death the wrong way. I don't think it's just now that I understand this, and they didn't used to teach death like this, like we're being taught it today. It's absolutely wrong, right? It's like you bury them or you cremate them, and they're no more. They're going on to heaven, whatever. And that is not the way you should teach people about death, because people you're gonna miss them. So yeah, you're gonna mourn. But I think if people were taught the right way about what death really is, the process wouldn't be so hard, right? And we wouldn't have all these incorrect teachings about everything that surrounds death, right? And the progression of your spirit, right? Okay. Later interpreted to be a daemon without being distinguished for its beneficent nature, the Lamassu is a positive guardian spirit that is called forth in many of the tablet rites. It is hard to separate in all cases the difference between this spirit and the Sidhu guardian, but the combined lore of these led to the later Assyrian belief in guardian angels. That's the term we like to use today in the Hebrew roots and the church house, right? We're talking about the same stuff. But the combined lore of these led to the later Assyrian belief in guardian angels that carried over into modern Judeo-Christian beliefs. Essential to the craft of the priest is a knowledge of the elements of both the material world and the spiritual one as well. The function of healer often fell upon temple priests. Clearly, we could see that from the Torah, right? Which is a lot of stuff that we don't quite yet know and realize about the Torah. Tablets show evidence for a practice of spiritual medicine coupled with lore of natural cures, such as is revived in contemporary medicine. The elements of life appear physically and figuratively in ritual observances, specifically the waters of life and the fires of life, which are considered purifying and cleansing, but also deceptively destructive, right? So depending on who is actually using these forces or these energies or these spiritual laws will determine the output you get. If you have a good-hearted, good-natured person, someone who is righteous using it, then nothing but healing and blessing will flow from their hands when they use this particular magic or these temple rites, right? But if they're nefarious from the heart, what you're going to see is what we term today as witchcraft, right? And evil. But, ooh, boy, what do you want, Isaiah?
She's cooking me and I'm hungry.
Okay, look, it's the same thing every morning. We'll talk about this. Go get a mango or something. You got all this fruit around. You get a piece of fruit or something. Well, you like oranges. It's apples in there. You got kiwis. You got pineapples, watermelon, everything in there.
Why is our refrigerator just filled with fruit?
Because that's what we need.
Vegetables?
Because that's what we need to
I
eat.
want something else in this.
Look,
What?
boy. Look, listen. You're causing me to go off into side roads. Okay, let me go back, y'all. Essential to the craft of the priest is a knowledge of the elements of both the material world and the spiritual one as well. The function of healer often fell upon temple priests. Tablets show evidence for a practice of spiritual medicine coupled with lore of natural cures, such as is revived in contemporary medicine. The elements of life appear physically and figuratively in ritual observances, specifically the waters of life and the fires of life, which are considered purifying and cleansing, but also deceptively destructive. The blood of life and the breath of life are also iconic ceremonial and spiritual symbols found in many religious mythologies. And it has reference 45 for religious mythologies, and 45 says, see also Vampire Magic by Joshua Free. I haven't read that one yet. All right. Concerning the bands or taboo, and it has taboo spelled two different ways. The first way it's spelled is Tabu, and in parentheses is today's spelling Taboo. Concerning the bands or taboo of the ancient tradition, many of them are actually placed on aspects of healthy and sanitary living. For example, the more obvious include contact with the body of a corpse, or a woman who is menstruating, or the body of a young maiden girl. It is these social restrictions, taboos, or bans that are placed on civilized man as a means of preserving order. We all familiar with that, right? All the Torah readers, we're familiar with that. Oh, he done walked out of here, Yasaf. I tell him he said, what's up? Okay. Alleged mind demons also appear to await us around every corner, seeking to thwart the hearts and actions of men away from adhering to the law. Whatever the nature of such might be, when someone does go against the grain, bringing chaos into a given system, repercussions, even in the form of thought form demons, emerge, or thought form demons. And a lot of time when we I've noticed when we cross boundaries that maybe we only know that we cross, maybe like hidden boundaries that we cross, we a lot of times are the ones who end up maybe chastising or spooking ourselves out, because now we begin to walk around with this conviction that, oh my gosh, I didn't just cross this line, this spiritual line that has been ingrained in you. And now your own conscience or your own thoughts begin to attack you, right? Or you're in turmoil with the thoughts that you created. Those are thought demons. And a lot of times they could be justified, but a lot of times they're not justified based on the misinformation you've been taught and that you believe is true, right? Those are thought form demons. Whatever the nature of such might be, when someone goes against the grain, bringing chaos into a given system, repercussions, even in the form of thought-formed demons, emerge. The role of, and I do this because it has the air quotes around them. The role of sympathetic magic in these effects cannot be overlooked. Given the vivid descriptions we have been given to draw off from ancient tablets, we see evidence for the stereotypical voodoo doll as perhaps the most ancient recorded folk charm used to represent a psychic target for either side, as they essentially may be used to curse or remove curses or heal. Representative figures made of wax and other substances frequently appear. In fact, the Book of Burnings and the Maklu, and it has reference 46 for Maklu, and that says, see the M series tablets within the current anthology. So we'll get to that. It's just letting you know that we're going to talk about it further in that particular section. All right. In fact, the Book of Burnings and the Maklu can even be seen as a literal embodiment of the burning, melting, waxen images. Ceremonial burnings and metaphoric effigy are usually performed with waxen dolls made in the image of your enemy. Elsewhere, it explains that a waxen doll may be cursed over a flame and then melted in a cauldron. The idea of connecting to the spirit or soul of a being via some waxen or natural-made image can be found in the mystical practices of Babylonians, Egyptians, and early Semitic tribes. Remember, Semitic, that's referring to Israel. Semitic, Shemitic, those who descend from Shem. Yeah, talking about you too. They was doing it, all this what they term today as magic. That's what they was all doing. There are significant sympathetic powers attained via the knowledge and use of one's name, which is to say the true name of a spirit or entity, embodied or not. So we're embodied. Those that don't have a body are not embodied anymore, right? And they're just spirits. There are significant sympathetic powers attained via the knowledge and use of one's name, which is to say the true name of a spirit or entity, embodied or not. As R.C. Thompson writes, paraphrasing Lejeune, the modern Abyssinian believes in demons being constantly on the watch to steal a Christian's name if they can, and it is the custom to conceal the real name by which a person is baptized with. And you see that in a lot of different cultures and where they give them nicknames, right? So that their real name isn't given out, so nobody can actually pronounce, so nobody can take their real name and use it in any kind of spell or prayer against them, right? That's still a thing today. Like, that is real. Let me read that again. The modern Abyssinian believes in demons being constantly on the watch to steal a Christian's name if they can, and it is the custom to steal the real name by which a person is baptized with. In the Egyptian grimoire, translated by Budge, a rite is described by which both aspects of these powers are combined in combating the daemon Apep, A-P-E-P, and that's reference 47. Apep, the Egyptian version of the primordial chaos dragon called Tiamat in Mesopotamia, and also Typhon to others. Oh, snap. Hold on, y'all. That y'all have no clue why I just said that. Hold on. Okay. I had to make myself a note, something I was looking into. Okay. Hold on. In the Egyptian grimoire, translated by Budge, a rite is described by which both aspects of these powers are combined in combating the demon Apep. A waxen figure is made in his image, along with the name being written thereupon. The charm is burned as a means of binding the spirit, although the text reads destroy. Semantic connections between cleanliness and sanity can be traced back to the roots of the word, but to clarify further, ideas of uncleanliness, sin, and demons are all synonyms among the ancients. Violation of health taboos also contributed to visible consequences, also connecting cleanliness and sin. Origins of this lore may have begun as ceremonial inclinations. Morgenstern describes in the doctrine of sin in Babylonian religion the expressions sin, uncleanliness, sickness, possession by evil spirits are pure synonyms. They denote an evil state of the body, the result of the divine anger. Sin must have been originally purely ritual. Either the man had neglected to offer his sacrifice or else had not offered it properly. It is important to note that before sacrifices could be offered properly, a person would have first needed a ritual cleansing, furthering again a combined significance of purity. And we're familiar with that just from reading through the Torah, right? Okay, so that was that section. Where we at? 55? Okay, we'll read this next section. Hold on, let me see how long this one is. Yeah, we'll read the next section. We'll just read this next section and then we'll go. The next section is about 3.5 pages. No, I'm sorry, about 4. Okay, and it's called Annunaki Mandala of Protection. Description: to be said in the magic circle by the priest who has fashioned 7 winged figures to place before him. Okay, y'all, so let me just give a little disclaimer here for all those who still kind of scared of magic. Remember, these are tablets revealing what the ancients used to do and how different things were derived. Even our Bible, how it was taken from some of this stuff. Some things, remember, I used to tell you about, there was in the Bible, well, the Bible my grandmother had, within the Holy Bible, not only did the Apocrypha used to be located inside of it, but also the book of black magic and white magic. Current generations are not familiar with that. But in my grandmother's generation, it was still a thing. The Bible was still combined with magic inside of it, right? This is no different. It's just as time progressed, they removed those pieces and they took it and put it over in the occultic side and told the church side of everything, stay away from it, it's the devil. When that was not the case. What they were really afraid of is people actually walking in these things and using it against them, right? So they were kind of afraid that it would get into the hands of the wrong people, which I can't necessarily fault them for that, right? I found myself doing the same thing. I shared the story with y'all yesterday. When I found out certain things worked, and after I had given it as gifts to my 2 oldest sons, Elijah and Jeremiah, I went back, give me those 2 books. Give them back, right? Because I didn't want them to get themselves in trouble. Not that those were the same reasons why they removed it. I think their reasons for removing and separating the text were purely selfish so that people wouldn't realize that the powers that be were lying to them, and then they would take these powers and break themselves free and actually use those powers to destroy them. That's why I think they separated the stuff, right? But hey, it is what it is. All right, so this is kind of about what it's about to get into, right? I ain't telling y'all to go do none of this. Just pay attention. Just be here to learn. Okay. Annunaki Mandala of Protection. Description: to be said in the magic circle by the priest who has fashioned 7 winged figures to place before him. And it has the directions for the practitioner: to spread a dark garment on their upraised arms, to bind the arms of the patient or the cursed one, to mark the usurtu is the mandala or magic circle of operations. In church, they call it a prayer circle, right? In other places, in the other side of things, they call it a magic circle. They'll hold hands or they'll not hold hands, but everybody still, you see, if you step back and don't listen to what they're saying, if you just watch the actions of the church, Hebrews, and this, if you cut off the sound, everybody looks like they're doing the same thing. But when you turn the sound back on and you listen to them, if you listen to them at one level, everybody's speaking Hebrew with the exception of the church. Excuse me. The church is speaking pure English, but you can tell some of them are picking it up and they're fumbling with their words, right? But then the church is like cut off at a level of power. And then you have the Hebrew roots. They have more level of power because they're picking it back up and they're realizing, wait a minute, these things originally belong to us. And then you have the side that they label completely occulted. They got all the pieces, right? They got all the missing pieces that the Hebrew people should have, and the Christian church, the people who are trapped over here, should have. It's like levels of understanding and levels of ignorancy. I know that's not a word, but you'll find what you need over here in the occultic side. But when you go over here, they done scared you so bad over here and over here that you're afraid to even look over here, right? And unless you have somebody that kind of drips this information on you, you're gonna stay bound, and you're gonna let that fear barrier that they've set up around you to keep you away from stuff that literally is your birthright that you should have. You're going to keep your own self from it. Those barriers that they erected, you're going to fight to keep them up, right? And nope, we're not going to go there. Nope, everything is witchcraft. Nope, it's really not. Because if you just not even go into it looking to do anything, just looking for information just to compare what's there and what's here. They say, don't even look over there. Oh, yeah, we ain't going over there because I'm going to speak a curse. I'm telling y'all, from what I know from personal experience, I'm telling you, it is absolutely not. Now, granted, there are some things. You got everything, but we're not even talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about some of the basic stuff that they're using. When you go in there, you find out, like, wait a minute, hold on, we doing the same thing. That's what I'm telling you. And they call this they call it, what is it, Usurtu, or the circle of magic. We call it a circle of prayer. Okay. I just thought I'd say that. Directions for the practitioner: to spread a dark garment on their upraised arms, to bind the arms of the patient or the cursed one, to mark the usurtu. The usurtu is the magical circle or the prayer circle. To mark the usurtu boundary with the sprinkling of lime. The usurtu must also be marked by the flower of nisaba. Okay. Then the next section is incantation of ceremonial effects. At the head of these 7 figures with the terrible wings, fearful wings, have set a figure of Nergal. I have conjured Nuzku. Nuzku is the fire god. At their head in the cauldron, Aga Mas Saratu. Twin figures or guardians, wards, I have set to overwhelm the evil spirit at the right side and the left side of the sick or possessed man. And the foundations of this place I have set the ward of Lugo-Gira, the Lord of the fires of Gibil, Lord of the fires of heaven God, of which there is no rival, beneath the bed where lays the injured. So it looks like they're trying to pray to get them healed, right? And they're doing extra things around it. Think about what people do in the church, and you go to lay hands on the sick or something, right? And some of the things, some people do extra stuff that you don't necessarily have to do, right? They may get water and sprinkle them with it as a representation of the cleansing of all that type of stuff you learn how to do in church. They're doing the same thing. They're just using different stuff. I have set the figure of Narudu, sister of the elder gods, who was connected to both the Ijiji, which we call the Watchers in the Bible and the Book of Enoch, and to Ishtar, that no evil shall draw near. I set Amel Dispu at Lat Arag as guardians or wards of the doorway, with Hudol Depu to banish the existing evils. Within the door, I have charged the twin warriors of lime, and the watchers shall guard the door on the right and on the left. And that's the end of that incantation, right? So this almost kind of looks like sounds like an exorcism or praying. Somebody is sick and they're trying to cast out the evil spirit, right? The prerequisites to be performed by the pure offspring of the deep, meaning the abode of Ea Enki, else the sons or the race of Marduk. Eat what is good and drink what is sweet. Allow nothing evil to draw near against your watching. This portion may have been a part of some incantation being directed to a guardian spirit, not necessarily the priest. Let me also bring out something else that I've noticed. Whether it's in a church or in the Hebrew roots, my Hebrew brethren and sisterin, or any other place else that's spiritual, once you actually get into it, you will notice this same thing about being pure and clean. Although they say this, for some reason, when they teach us about it in the Hebrew roots and in the Christian church, it's like they're doing everything absolutely evil to defile themselves and defile everybody else around it, while we're told to be pure and holy. Yes, we're to be pure and holy, because if these things are going to work, if you're going to help deliver other people, help get them free, you should be clean, and there should be nothing that can cling to you. But what I found out is when you look into some of these other places in their cult, you will find that they are also consecrating themselves just like we consecrate ourselves. Like they're literally holding to those same standards. And that's what kind of threw me off a little bit. I was like, wait a minute, I'm thinking y'all over here drinking blood and slicing necks and eating animal feed and stuff. And then, but it is not like that. I know what we see on the movies, but when you actually like real living people, they actually set themselves apart in like a life of pureness and holiness, right? Whether you look at monks or other different people that are being initiated into certain spiritual rites, they're literally living lives of purity. And that I'm just like, wait a minute, hold on. Okay, so what are you trying to do? And what God you crying to? And you got to be pure too, like no sin, like what we say, no sin. And they really keep to all those things. And I don't know, like my whole understanding of different things, you really just got to wash away all the stuff that you see in movies, because the movies is what screw us up over here in the West. I'm not sure about the East and what they teach anywhere else. I just know the stuff that they teach us in the West, right? Amanda, so do I keep my consecrated oil? I would. I have consecrated oil. I use it. I know it's just like what we would call a prop or extra things, and you really don't need it for real. For real. It's one of those things that, it's like one of those things sometimes we need something physical to see and to touch to help us with our faith. But as you grow, you will realize you really don't need that. You ever hear me say, even recently, I'm the candle, right? I don't need a candle. Like you see them doing spells or prayers and they're lighting candles. I don't need that. People who use those things, and you'll find books that teach you how to use those things, it's to help you in your thinking and your focus. But as you grow, you'll realize you don't need any of that. All you need is you, right? I am the oil. I am the candle. Right? I am all the props that you're using for your circle. I am that, right? I am everything. I am all. Everything that the Creator has created is within me. I am that. I mean, but you can keep it. I still got mine. I still even use it from time to time. I really do. Right? But once you understand it, once you grow and you become a little less spooky, you will realize you can grow, and you can learn how to be what the church like to say, be patient with your own soul. Like that's a real thing. You learn how to be patient with yourself. When you learn how to be patient with yourself, you ain't too much bothered by some of the shenanigans that other people are doing who are still on that road to learning and trying to figure this thing out too, right? We're all in school. I would keep it. If you feel like you don't need it anymore, then bless the most holy. Yes, girl, you growing. Okay, let me finish this. Okay. The prerequisites to be performed by the pure offspring of the deep, meaning the abode of Ea Enki, else the sons or race of Marduk. Eat what is good and drink what is sweet. Allow nothing evil to draw near against your watching. This portion may have been a part of some incantation being directed to a guardian spirit, not necessarily the priest. The incantation is the incantation of Marduk, and it has reference 49. And it says, see also the incantation of Eridu. See tablet Y series within this anthology. Okay, we'll get to it. The next one is the magician is the embodiment of Marduk, En, son of En, whose God is En, and whose goddess is in whose body the sickness lies. Okay, so if you have this and you see En, remember we explained this before. So En means name. So if you praying a prayer for yourself or the other person where you see En, say if the guy's name was Tom. So this, like it says, En, son of En, whose God is En, whose goddess is En, and whose body the sickness lies. So En would be Tom. Tom, son of John, whose God is Yah, whose goddess is Yala, in whose body the sickness lies. Right? Y'all get it. Okay. The performance. The incantation is spoken when the cattle come home and when the cattle go out. Then it has 3 asterisks and it goes into this this portion. Marduk has seen him, meaning the sick one. Marduk has gone to the house of his father Enki. Marduk asked of Enki the headaches, whence comes it? And Enki responded, you know it is from the underworld, my son. Marduk asked of Enki, what this ailing man has done, he knows not. How may he be relieved from this underworld curse? And Enki responded, my son, what you do not know now, I cannot give you. My knowledge has already been added to your own. Go now. But before Marduk departed, Enki did divulge to him the secrets. And the secrets, we're going to read this. The burnings revisited. So we'll read it. I want to read this. And we're going to read just a little small section of my big toe, but I want to get through the burnings. Okay. So this section is called The Burnings Revisited. That might be in our title today. The Burnings. The words Kasapi, K-A-S period S-A period P-I. The words Kasapi and Kasapti appear often in the Banishings and Exorcism tablets of Mesopotamia. We definitely have to use exorcism in the title today. I'm going to figure it out, y'all. Okay. The most common used transliteration of the Malku tablets also uses the expressions La Kasapi and Kasapti, e.g. Lukasapi u Kasapti. Reference 50. Lakasapi ukasati, the evil sorcerer and evil sorceress. That's what that means. Okay. The name Gira, Girra, appears frequently and is generally interpreted as a spiritual, sentient entity unto itself. It may be that the literal fire god is Gibil and also Nusku or Nusku, but the expression of Gira could be more accurately translated as fires of God, as in the fires that a god would wield themselves. This could be very critical in reconstructing the tradition, changing implications of many lines found in the Maklu tablets. It has reference 51 for Maklu tablets. See the M tablets series within the current anthology. Okay, we'll get to it. For example, the line given might not be literally, hold on. Oh, okay, I'm reading this wrong. Okay. For example, the line given, and it gives Gura Sutu Bil Su Ni Ti, reference 52, Maklu tablet 2, line 115, CM tablets series in this anthology. Okay. For example, the line given, Gira Suta Bil Su Ni Ti, might not be literally fire God carried them away. It could be interpreted as fires of God carry them away. Okay, that makes sense. All right, yeah. Another example we can use from the M Tablet series, the Babylonian Incantation against the Ancient Ones and their worshippers, where it is translated originally, Gira, Lord of the Flames, sears and burns you to the core. In the above passage, the tablet says, Lord of the Flames, only because the name Gira is translated traditionally and added for clarification, but the description given in the remaining lines calls the same power forth as flames of the Lord. And so I'm going to read this. I'm going to just read it in the letters that it has, and then I'll read the interpretation of it. So bear with me, people. Okay. Line 104. In Degura Ari Rumar Da Nem Kardu, flaming spirit Gira, fires born of Anu. Izu Ahims Su Ata, fierce among your brethren. Sakima Nana Sen U Da the Samas Tada Anu Di Inu. Bring the judgment of Nana and Samas. Di Ini Dini Perus I Perusus. Be the jury of my case, judge of the decision. Kumi ka sapi uka sapti. Burn the my evil sorcerer and evil sorceress. Degura kumu lakasapi u fakasapti. Gira, burn the evil sorcerer and evil sorceress. Degura kuli lakasapi u fakasapti. Gira, consume the evil sorcerer and sorceress. Degura kumi sunuti. Gira, burn them now. Degura kuli sunuti. Gira, consume them now. Degura kusu usu nuti. Gira, overpower, overwhelm them now. Degura aru asu niti. Gira, destroy, annihilate them now. Degura suta bil su nuti. Gira, carry them away immediately. Somebody was crying out for some help. Malku cuneiform tablets are used by priests to counter actions made by wicked magic users, especially when they have made a specific person their target. The intention of these rites is clear: to appeal to higher powers of the pantheon, which is same source of universal energy as the evil sorcerer's magic, right? So those who are using good magic and those who are using evil magic, or a good sorcerer, or one you would call somebody using witchcraft or a witch, they get their power from the same source, right? Remember, it's the person who's using it that will determine the outcome. Just like the power coming to my house, we can see it plain as day. Y'all got to understand it. The same power that holy people and unholy people use, they get their power from the same exact source. How it's funneled through them will determine the output they unleash in this world. Just like that, the power that flows to my house from Dominion Power, they don't have separate energies coming from my toaster, my stove. No, we send you one energy and you decide how you want to use that power that we send you. Okay, so I got power. I got power going to my refrigerator. The top part, I want it to freeze. Use that power to freeze what I put in there. Use the power down here just to keep cool what I put in the lower part of my refrigerator. But I also got a deep freezer. Things that I need to be really cold, solid, hard, last for a long time. Turn that power up a little bit, cause things to freeze. But then when I want to eat something warm, that same power, let's design this, the output that I get from my stove to cook it. And then the bottom part to bake it, right? And then I want a smoothie today. Let's use that power to blend up my smoothie, or to juice my fruit, or to heat up the food in my microwave, or to make me some coffee, right? Or to heat up my bread in the toaster. It's one source of power. There is one source of power on this earth. And how we individual spirits with bodies use it will determine how people label you, whether you a witch or you a child of the Most High. But we all get our power from the same source. Y'all better remember that. Malclu cuneiform tablets are used by priests to counter actions made by wicked magic users, especially when they have made a specific person their target. The intention of these rites is clear: to appear to higher powers of the pantheon, which is the same source of universal energy as the evil sorcerer's magic. The priest cuts them off from their source by a pious appeal to the Annunaki, and finally, the belittlement or dispersal of their disharmonious energies, washed away in waters, or as can be seen often in the burning rites, incineration by fire. It's like Gandalf's chant in The Hobbit. I ain't finished watching that series. I like that. I'm going to finish watching that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Yep, and that's the bottom line to it all, Dana. In Babylon and among the Mardukite cult, mystical objects would be used by priests for ceremonies of offering, appeasing the gods, and healing sickness or curses and petitions to the gods. These objects often bore the names of deities, especially the supernal trinity of Anu, Enlil, and Enki, which the church calls the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I'm going to leave the church alone. I come from there. They're my folk. In addition to the Mardukite sevenfold zonai of the Babylonian system, the ancient Sumerians adhered to a different Nintur. What is it? What? It broke the word up, so now it's making it harder. Hold on. Oh, okay. Ninurta, but Niturian. Okay. Let me go back. Focus, Pamela. Okay. In addition to the Mardukite sevenfold zonai of the Babylonian system, the ancient Sumerians adhered to a different Niturian hierarchy prior to and concurrent with the sealing of the younger Anunnaki powers by Marduk. And Niturian has the footnote 53, number 53, and it's Ninurta, the official heir son of Enlil. Okay. Historians actually refer to them as the seven Ninurtas, translated Adad, A.D.A.D, in some systems. They are, and it's going to list 1 through 7. 1, Uras of Dilbat. 2 is Ninurta of Nippur. Number 3 is Zababa of Kish. Number 4 is Nabu of Borsippa. Number 5 is Nergal of Kutha. Number 6 is Marduk of Babylon, and Pabilsag of Isin. And we almost done, y'all. We almost done with this section. Afflictions of the people were recognized by priests as a spiritual entity or a demon, whether or not they are self-induced by obsession or uncleanliness or brought on by another, the wicked person. It may be that this belief makes exorcising of sickness easier from a mystical perspective, or casting out demons, e.g. sympathetic magic. That's what you would call that, sympathetic magic. Amanda, she said this PK has been shattered. PK, you talking about preacher's kid? You got parents that are pastors. Bless you, my child. Okay. It may be that this belief makes exorcising of sickness easier from a mystical perspective, e.g. sympathetic magic, while the true function of spiritual atonement may have been threshed out of Western religion. It would seem that the practice of this is not only vital for curing, but essential for the regular maintenance of well-being. Combative magic seems wholly fire-oriented when immolating the wickedness that has been sent to a target. But what of the poor soul who has become victim of a different curse or illness, one fated by the gods, whereby some social or cleanliness taboo has been broken. For this we have atonement, which carries a root meaning to wash away. Therefore, removing sickness that has been summoned to a being, knowingly or not. In fact, the Serpu tablet series is reference 54. It says, portions of which appear within this present tablet H series. I don't know why they keep saying, oh, okay, so it may be to stop people from taking unnecessary breaks. We're going to look these things up, letting you know that we've included this here. Okay. Because they keep saying it's located in here. Okay. I see why they would do that. So you can just get through it and finally get to it. Okay. In fact, the Serpu tablet series carries with it a considerable list of sins or taboos that a person may have committed by accident, thus resulting in casual illness or affliction. We're also familiar with that. Those of us who are really familiar with the Torah, right? You got the rituals for atonement for sins that you knowingly did and things that you didn't know you did, things that you did out of ignorance, right? So we're familiar with that. None of this sounds foreign to us. Considering many of the ancient taboos, unclean sexual relations with animals, drinking water from a poor source, or coming in contact with an environment or person that may be a contagion for a disease, it makes good sense that physical and observable consequences of these things would lead to a belief in sin, also the Babylonian name Fanana, and divine curses, retribution for such actions. We're definitely familiar with this. It's all through the Torah, right? Especially through Leviticus with the Levitical laws. Curiously, a charm from the Serpu tablets, Akkadian, actually appeared in the forefront for rites of the AA or Argentum Astrum in the instructions for casting the circle. And so what's here is like the paragraph, and I guess these are the instructions for casting the circle. I'm going to just read it. Ban, ban, ban. Barrier that none shall pass. Barrier of the gods that none may break. Barrier of heaven and earth. The bond unchangeable that no god may amend, and no god or man shall break free. And that was the end of that. For the closing, the Egyptian form of Ma'at, and Ma'at is a word of truth or a word of power, is evoked as a means of clearing. And then it goes for another one. It says this next little portion of what this is. Ipsos, breath of the universe, soul of the realm. Ma'at, speak the word of truth, east. Ma'at, share the light of justice, south. Ma'at, lead the way of balance, west. Ma'at, heal the order of the realm, north. Ma'at, above me, heights. Ma'at, below me, depths. Ma'at, embracing, encompassing all things, center. Come forth and be the fire in my heart. Come forth and be the life of my future. Come forth and let the magical child be born. Abrahadabra. Now, abrahadabra is what we know over here in the West as abracadabra, right? But it says abrahadabra. Finally, the continuation of the first charm is as follows. And then it goes to the end of this, and that'll be the end of the reading today. So it's going to give the continuation of what we just read. A snare, net without escape, set for evil, a net which none can control to spread evil, whether it be the evil genius, demon, or ghost, or the evil devil, evil god, or evil fiend, or hag demon, ghoul, or thieving sprite, of wrath, nightmare, or mistress of the night, or evil plague, fever, sickness, or unclean disease. Whatsoever has attacked the shining waters of Inki, may the net of Inki capture it. Or whatsoever has spoiled the grains of Nisaba, may the net of Nisaba combat it. Or whatsoever has broken the sacred barrier, let the barrier of the gods be protected. Let the bond of heaven and earth be free. That which does not reverence the elder gods, may the great gods trap it. May the great gods curse it. Whatsoever has attacked the house, may the great gods cast it into an enclosure, or whatsoever swirls, circles round and round to confuse. May the great gods cast it into a place with no escape, or whatsoever gets closed into the house by the door. May the great gods cast it into a house with no exit, or whatsoever slips past the bolted door. May the great gods ever keep hold over it with a bolt. That which blows into the household at the crevices, or that which forces its way through the latch. Like the waters may it pour out from that place. Like a glass cup may it be thrashed into pieces. Like a delicate tile may it be broken so easily. Or whatsoever makes its way over the wall, may the great God cut off its wings. Or whatsoever finds a way to hide in the rooms, may the great gods cut its throat. Or whatsoever sneaks to steal a glance of the rooms, may the great gods force out its eyes. Or whatsoever mutters curses quietly in the dwelling, may the great gods force its mouth shut forever. Or whatsoever roams free in the attics, may the great gods conceal it in the in-between. Or whatsoever darkens the dawn, may the great gods imprison it in the place of sunrise. Ooh. Whatsoever darkens... Bless you, bless you, bless you. No. Or whatsoever darkens the dawn, may the great gods imprison it in the place of sunrise. And that is the end of that particular incantation or charm that it was given us. But as you read through this, if you are familiar on the church side of things with warfare, right? Spiritual warfare. They even have some warfare prayer books, right? Some I can see it's like one by this one particular guy and another one. They're well known in a Christian world, right? One I think is they call her a powerful evangelist. I forget her name, but I can see her face. And I can see his face, a different person. But anyway, they have, you know how you can get prayer books to help you with your prayers. Anyway, they have developed some prayer books for warfare. And their warfare prayers, and I didn't buy them, but I did buy them, but like online. And I was kind of looking through them. But the warfare prayers, this would be considered like a warfare prayer. And these are similar to some of the Christian warfare prayers, casting out devils and demons and stuff, right? So I just wanted to say that. But with that being said, beautiful people, that is our reading for this for today. Let me write my page number. Let's go ahead and read like a couple pages of My Big Toe. I know that was a lot, but it's Saturday, right? Ain't nobody, well, some people got to go to work. My people had to work. But y'all here. Y'all ain't got to work, right? Or if y'all at work, y'all listening to me and y'all ear. Okay. We're going to read maybe just like a page or two. Huh?
If they don't have work, do you really really spend the night? Jason Jackson?
No, not tonight. No, but you will see them today. Okay, My Big Toe, chapter 27. We're just going to read a page or two. All right. And the title for this chapter is The Evolution of Ao. Remember, Ao is the name that they've given to the great creator, the source power of all. Oh, yeah, Jen, that's good. What comes to mind is Moses and the inflictions on the Egyptians in Exodus. Yep. Yeah. Doing when we was reading through this prayer, this incantation. Yeah, it's the same exact thing. Okay. The title of the chapter is The Evolution of Ao, Patterns, Symbols, Information and Memory, Motivation and Evolutionary Constraints. If you were Ao, what could you eventually do with a trillion, billion, gazillion reality cells? For starters, you could begin arranging your local deformations or cells into patterns. Then patterns of patterns and groups of patterns, whatever your mind could hold. Would a good memory be helpful here? Isn't it neat how the imperative to implement the fundamental process creates evolutionary pressures that deliver whatever is most profitable to the evolving organism? Mega memory is on the way. Where many choices can be profitable, The outcome is great diversity. To get a glimmer of the potential of AO organizing its cells into multiple levels of patterns, look at what William Shakespeare accomplished by arranging and rearranging only 26 letters of the English alphabet. Consider the contents of the Library of Congress and this book you are reading. Together they represent a tremendous output from simply rearranging 26 letters of one language into a group of patterns. Yo, as many times as I didn't listen to this book, I never heard him say this. Like, I must have zoned out when he was saying this. That is that is a whole revelation in itself. Let me go back up. Listen to this again, y'all. Listen to this. I'm going to just start it over. Listen. If you were Aor, if you were the creator, if you were Yah, the great source of all power, right? If you were Ao, what could you eventually do with the trillion, billion, gazillion reality cells? For starters, you could begin arranging your local deformations or cells into patterns, then patterns of patterns, and groups of patterns, whatever your mind could hold. Would a good memory be helpful here? Isn't it neat how the imperative to implement the fundamental process creates evolutionary pressures that deliver whatever is most profitable to the evolving organism? Mega memory is on the way. Where many choices can be profitable, the outcome is great diversity. Just think about all the different books just in the Western world, using the Western letters, right? The alphabet, A through Z. Think about all the different rearranging of all those letters that has given us the different books and the different themes and titles and segments, and to get a glimmer of the potential of AO organizing its cells into multiple levels of patterns, look at what William Shakespeare accomplished by arranging and rearranging only 26 letters of the English alphabet. Consider the contents of the Library of Congress and this book you are reading. Together they represent a tremendous output from simply rearranging 26 letters of one language into groups of patterns. If every word ever written or spoken in any language were stored utilizing binary reality cells as memory, using distorted versus not distorted, in the same way computers use O's and ones to represent letters and numbers, a Yo would have used up only an infinitesimal percentage of the available reality cells. Such is the nature of seemingly infinite, unbounded oneness. It seems limitless. Its capacity, relative to ours, appears infinite. I do not say that AO appears to go on endlessly and forever, because applying our space and time constrained words and concepts to ideas far beyond their reach creates confusion and paradoxes. AO cannot be conceived in terms of space and time. Yet we 3D creatures of limited knowledge must use the tools and modes of conception and communication that we have and stretch them to reach out to the unknown that lies beyond our horizon. It is important not to let our words and their implicit PMR conceptual limitations trap us into believing that reality is, by definition, fully contained within 3 spatial dimensions and restricted to what we can physically perceive. By now, AO is, or parts of AO are, considerably less dim. Continuing with our biological analog, it is now time to diversify and specialize. Within biological forms and functions, diversification and specialization are primarily driven by 2 basic pressures: survival and propagation. Applying the fundamental process of evolution to biological systems creates these pressures, as well as creates the various individual strategies that are designed to respond to these pressures. The survival or continuing existence of a particular individual member of a species is not only significant to that individual, but also contributes to the profitability and the continuance of the species evolutionary experiment, and ecosystem. Each individual, besides being an autonomous entity, is an integral part of a larger system. Nothing stands alone, disconnected from the rest. To misquote John Donne, no man or bacterium is an island. All right, so he goes into a little shorter side, and I think we're going to end at the paragraph directly after the shorter side. So we'll be done in about 5 minutes. Ooh, that's good, Mick. He said, like a pack of cards shuffle, the chance of coming out the same order is an astronomical number. You are absolutely right. There's so many different outcomes that you could have, right? It's crazy. The little shorter side. During the 18th, 19th, and first half of the 20th centuries, humans, in a typical display of little picture, self-centered arrogance, believed they stood alone above all else, particularly in the rapidly industrializing West. Many whose economic dynamics are still at the front end of the Industrial Revolution continue to feel and act that way. That is easy to understand. Industrialization is a process that in the short run turns natural resources into wealth, power, and a higher standard of living. Unfortunately, short-term profitability often drives non-ecological utilization of resources. Rapid industrialization is a very difficult package to turn down for the sake of ecological responsibility, especially if you are one of the last looters to get to the scene of the riot. To update and urbanize an old maxim, the early looter gets the best TV. Hold on. We might put that in the title today. Furthermore, the early looter is also the least likely to get caught and face the consequences. It is an obvious fact that the easiest way to get some quick cash to support an immediate higher standard of living is to mug Mother Nature as she walks through her park. Fortunately, she is an exceptionally hardy and charitable sort and gracefully tolerates our abuse up to a point. However, to pass that point is to trade an endless supply of golden eggs for a single goose dinner. Even if you are extraordinarily hungry, that is a stupid trade. As the bigger picture of a global ecosystem has come into view, some have realized that we have responsibility as well as rights of plunder by virtue of superior force. A viable and stable ecosystem must achieve and maintain balance. That we humans have the capability to seriously disturb that balance is the source of our responsibility. Our natural environment does not constitute the only global ecosystem. Eventually, among the human population, we will discover and learn the rules and dynamics of global technology, political, social, and economic ecosystems. In global systems, individual players always have bit parts, yet all are vitally important, even from a system perspective. In general, the larger system, the smaller part, any one participant plays. Hold on. Okay, I read that probably a little too slow. In general, the larger the system, the smaller part any one participant plays. Each individual entity, including you, plays out its unique interactive part and absolutely affects the whole, whether or not they are aware the whole exists. Some individuals and groups affect the larger system more than others and thus must assume a greater responsibility commensurate with their greater impact and influence. A complex ecosystem can maintain balance only if a great ability to use...
Ready for Savannah gender reveal?
Yes, shortly. We'll be ready for her gender reveal. Okay.
I want to be a girl.
You want it to be a girl?
At the park.
I don't know.
Mom.
I think she needs a boy. That's what I think. I think she needs a boy.
No, I think it's a girl.
Think it's a girl? Okay. All right, team girl. A complex ecosystem and team boy. Okay. Girl. Okay. I'm almost done. All right.
I'm going to go to the biggest things I can do it.
Okay. A complex ecosystem can maintain balance only if a great ability to use, exploit, and destroy is tempered by an equally great responsibility to conserve, replenish, and protect. Ability must be balanced by responsibility, force with caring, and fear with love. With great responsibility comes great challenges and great opportunity. The bigger your perspective and understanding, the more effective and productive you can be within your system. Your ability to take intelligent actions depends upon the depth of your vision and the quality of your understanding. The smaller your perspective and understanding, the more likely you are to inadvertently shoot yourself in the foot. Low quality consciousness does not see the big picture and makes short-sighted decisions for the near-term gain. To a being of low quality, feel good appears more important than do good, which appears more important than be good. There is no rule that requires evolution to optimize profitability through only random trial and error activity. We are allowed to use our brains. And he put that in bold. We are allowed to use our brains. No kidding. We actually are. I know there is little hard evidence to support that assertion, but a bigger perspective and understanding of the larger system and our optimal interaction with it and responsibility to it is well within our intellectual capability. Theoretically, we humans are intelligent and educable. However, let me remind you that intelligence and education are attributes of individuals, not groups. You cannot pass the buck or abdicate your personal responsibility, rely on somebody else to solve a shared problem without becoming part of the problem. Now that was good. Let me read that again. Theoretically, we humans are intelligent and educable. However, let me remind you that intelligence and education are attributes of individuals, not groups. You cannot pass the buck or abdicate your personal responsibility, rely on somebody else to solve a shared problem without becoming part of the problem. Everybody got to do their part. We need you to study, get your information so you can help everybody that's a part of this group. Everybody has a piece of the puzzle that they need to share, right? If you're not doing your part, we just gonna miss that piece of the puzzle unless somebody gonna take up the slack and begin to search out what you should be searching out, coming back, sharing with us, so we can all toss it up in the air and think about it and look at it from all different angles, inside and out.
Mom, look at Bill.
Go put it back. Didn't your dad tell y'all to stay out of his refrigerator?
Mom, did I got something on the refrigerator? Nope.
I'm about to FaceTime y'all daddy. And I'm going to show him what y'all got. I'm going to be a snitch today. Go put it back.
I didn't get anything.
But you sat back and let her do it. Go put it back.
I wasn't even.
And Bella, you think you slick. You take stuff out of there and you hand out one to everybody. So everybody get in trouble with you. Go put it back. And everybody that got something, go put it back.
No.
Move. Go put it back or you won't get it. Move.
I get on.
Listen, y'all.
Oh,
You
no,
know
you
what,
don't
y'all?
get
Hold on. We might need to pause. We need to pause. I'm going to pause right here, y'all. We can pause right here. No. Because they doing the most. Everybody down here, they got my refrigerator open, pulling out food and stuff, and they just going to get louder. So this is what we're going to pause at today. Right? Chill. All right, y'all. That was a couple pages anyway. All right. I said I was going to finish this little set aside, but I'll finish it tomorrow. All right. So let me put this here. Move, son. Move. No. So I didn't give it to you. No. Yes.
Why does Bella always get to get on here, but not me?
Because I said she could get on it first.
When she always gets up there, she acts like that's hers.
I'm little and I'm as daddy as mommy is his daughter.
Cares. Yeah, and you're our little sister.
Oh, shoot.
Y'all see what I deal with every day, all day, day in and day out? From the time they open their eyes to the time they close them again.
I like sleep. That's all. That's all I need.
All right, y'all.
It's not fair.
You know what? Somebody always going to think something is not fair.
I'm getting Zay a whooping.
I'm not going to give him a whooping. All right, y'all. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Thank y'all for hanging out with me today.
Finally, we can go Savannah's gender reveal.
Well, we gotta go to karate first, right?
No!
Yes, we're going to karate.
I want to bring the hat back.
Y'all should see them.
I want to go.
I know, right? Joys of being a parent. All right, y'all. Happy Saturday. It is March the 5th, 2022, day 47 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets of the 4-year consecutive day count. It is day 1065. We read the complete Annunaki Bible, Tablet H, pages 126 through 133. And we read a couple pages in My Big Toe in chapter 27, page 219 to page 221. All right, beautiful people. Thank y'all for hanging out. God bless you. Good day. May y'all continue to strengthen us and give us the courage to change when we get new information.
Mom, it'll be too late for the gender reveal because Cora left it until night.
May Yahuwah give us the courage to change when we get new information that we should consider about this life that we live. Yes, baby.
We can do it. Got dark.
Well, no, it's not going to be dark when we come from there.
I just want to do it dark. I hate karate.
Okay. And not only...
the day is already over.
Nope. Not only may he give us courage, or we develop the courage to adjust what we believe when we get more information and we find out what we believe is faulty. Not only will we have the courage to change, but also boldly live in the truth
On your bed, it's messed up.
Because y'all messed it up. May we boldly live in the truth that we learn and apply to our lives, that we can continue being light, or that light set on the hill, not covered up, right? But may we shine bright as beacons, as lights to those who are stumbling in the dark, trying to find their way. You know? All right, beautiful people.
And look, your face looks really cute. And this have this.
Thank you, girl. Thank you. All right, beautiful people. That's it. We're about to get out of here. Tootie, go ahead in this video. Bye, y'all. Love y'all. See y'all tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please. You not call her no names. What's wrong with you, boy?
Why does she always get to end the 2 videos, but I don't even get to end one of them?
I'm dad and mom's daughter. And I'm the
Hey, you're our sister.
Come on, Isaiah. Let him in. You can him in YouTube. Tell me that.